I would never imagine maybe 3 years ago that I would be in this position and I would be having to make this video where I'm discussing and addressing the thoughts of quitting medicine, quitting going to medical school and becoming a medical doctor. When the pandemic hit 2 years ago, almost now, I was in the position of working. I graduated from college at the University of Maryland College Park in 2019. And I did not know exactly what I wanted to do. I know I wanted to still go to medical school. That was my goal always, but I knew that I wasn't matriculating directly to medical school. So I needed to have a gap year, situation and have something to do during that gap year. And a lot of times when people have gap years, they tend to either continue working in medicine, get more experiences, shadow, do a post-bac, whatnot. I had a case where my GPA was fine, but it was just my MCAT score, so I just needed more time to work on my MCAT and study for the MCAT. However, I got very lucky and fortunate to be blessed with the opportunity. One of my friends that I grew up with was working in the lab, and he was leaving the lab, and he offered me the position because he saw that I was working with rats in undergrad doing surgery, and I was offered this position at the NIH. So I took him up on that opportunity, and I ended up getting the position at the research lab, and it was fun. I enjoyed doing it. I studied neuro ensembles, where we studied and looked at drug addiction and how they are associated with certain coding regions in the brain and pathways that are associated with drug addiction and cocaine addiction, and seeing how the rats would respond to certain tests. I got to really realize from that experience that wet lab research, bench research is really not for me. That is not my thing that I want to do at all. Like, I strictly want to talk to people and work with people on a day-to-day basis. I don't want to be in a lab pipetting and aliquoting and running down serums and looking at statistical data and all that stuff all the time. Like, that's just not for me. I'd rather be working hands-on with patients and really just going that more clinical route than bench lab research, if you understand what I'm trying to say. So during that time experience, I got to increase my critical thinking skills. I got to learn about new science stuff when it comes to neuroscience. Like, you think you know about neuroscience when you take those neuro classes in undergrad, but when you're out here in a lab that's just strictly focused on that, you realize how much you really don't know. And that was me. I did not know a thing. So when these people were talking all this big science talk, I'm sitting at the table like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I did not know anything, but I made it through, y'all. I made it through, and I enjoyed it. I got to learn I got to work with a confocal microscope, which is a very expensive high resolution microscope that is able to look at cells and bring them up and show you, every single quality and feature of a brain slice that we were taking from the rats and whatnot. And my job was pretty much to do imaging, where I would take the slides and I would image, I would image them, process them, put them into PowerPoint sheets and present it in front of the lab team, and they explain the findings that I found and whatnot. I had to do a lot of the dirty work. As a post-baccalaureate researcher, you do a lot of the dirty work, and it's very time consuming and tedious, but someone has to do it. And I was that guy. If you can relate, you know that it's really a gruesome process, but it is what it is. So I'm thankful for that opportunity. I got to learn a lot and got to meet a lot of cool people who are really smart and brilliant and know their stuff. And it really taught me a lot about team dynamics and really how, working in a professional setting. This was my first real job after leaving college. So definitely appreciative of that experience. So that door closed, and then I realized that I needed to really incorporate, if I wanted to get to medical school and continue my medical school journey, I would have to focus and buckle down on the MCAT exam. And so that leads me to where I am now, where I'm trying to go back at the MCAT and study for it. However, when I first started studying for it initially this past summer, I was putting a lot of energy forth. I was putting a lot of time into it. I sacrificed going to events, sacrificed a lot of different things, and I was just going. And I had, family members affected by COVID. I had family members getting sick without COVID. It was just a lot of different things going on, a lot of big transition processes that I was not really prepared for. And while I was trying to study for the MCAT, all of that was a lot on me personally. And I realized that I needed to slow down. I needed to, take some time to just get my mind right and to find my intrinsic motivation to continue studying for this exam. The MCAT is not an easy exam whatsoever. And it takes a lot of preparation, a lot of good time management skills, and just really buckling down. And so I realized that I was burning myself out and I wasn't really as motivated to study for the exam. I was getting burnt out to the point where when I opened the book, I couldn't even process the information. I couldn't even read the information and retain it. I was doing Anki, I was writing things out, I was doing practice questions, doing UWorld, and nothing just seems to stick. And at that point, I realized that I was going into it's a curve that they have. It's a stress curve, stress adaptation curve, where you start off in the alarm state, you start off going to the resistance state, and then you move to the exhaustion state. And I was moving along that timeline. I was starting off in the alarm state, getting, my stress levels were going up, cortisol levels going up, and I'm feeling very anxious and just feeling not really as motivated as I was. And then my body is just not coping right. I'm not sleeping properly. And to the point where I get to that resistance stage, my body's thinking it's doing something, and then come to find out I'm not retaining anything. I'm not retaining none of the information. And then I get to the exhaustion stage where I'm starting to shut down, and I'm at that burnt out phase where it's just like, bro, I can't do this no more. And I took a step back and just started reflecting and just thinking about is this path even my path? Am I even supposed to be doing this? Like, why is it so hard? Why am I going through all these obstacles and challenges? Why nothing seems to be working when I'm literally trying to do everything right. I'm literally doing everything right. I'm not checking things off just to check them off. I'm doing the things that I'm passionate about, that I think I'm passionate about. I'm like, is God trying to tell me something here? Like, what's really good? But I realized at the end of the day that I've came too far. Like, with all this being said, I realized after taking some time off from the MCAT, studying for it, I realized that I really came too far to just give up because of this one exam. There's going to be many exams down the road, and I've taken so many exams already and I've done well. So I didn't want to let this exam be the end all be all for me. I didn't want this situation that occurred this past year to be the end all be all for me and let me just give up in my tracks, although I became hopeless. And I honestly feel that, that's why I kind of took some time off in general from this YouTube channel, is because I realized that I lost my confidence. And for me to even admit that right now, that takes a lot of guts, because I was a confident person. I was a confident pre-med. I was someone that you would, think, all right, he has it all together, or whatever the case may be seem. And I don't present myself like that at all, but people make assumptions and people think, certain things. But at the end of the day, I was a very confident individual, and a couple obstacles along this road has definitely shaken my confidence and humbled me to the point where I didn't even know myself if I was even cut out for this anymore. And to even have those thoughts of giving up and not wanting to become a doctor anymore, it was unsettling, because this is something that I've been dreaming about my whole entire life, of becoming and doing and dreaming about and just picturing and imagining, and people calling it into fruition and manifesting it for me on my behalf, and I'm manifesting it for myself. But then these roadblocks seem to just be in the way, and it's just like, why is it so hard? I'm asking God, why me? But I realized that the most successful people in the world who accomplish their goals and become what they set out to be and achieve are the people who never gave up, the people who continue pushing and fighting through every single obstacle and challenge that arises in front of them. No road, if it's truly worth having, is easy. And those are maybe cliche sayings, but I've lived it. I've seen it. I've seen it in my own life. I've seen it in other people's lives. There's people that have more challenging stories than myself, and they're still pushing and they made it through. So I use that as motivation or fuel for myself. And for people who, it's been an easy shot and straight shot for them, that's their story, that's their journey, and that's how it was made for them. But I realized I can't sit and just completely compare myself to other people, because it's not just black and white like that. Everyone has their own journey and story, and what's meant for you is meant for you. And when it's meant for you, you're going to get it. And that's just how I feel about it now at this point. And so it took me some time to realize, as I've been, pondering and wondering whether or not I should still go down this path of becoming a medical doctor, because there's so many other things that I could do, but this is something that I really set my mind on. And I'm a type of person, when I set my mind on something, I want to achieve it and I want to reach it and get it for myself. No one else, not for anyone else, but for myself. But using the reasons were keeping me on this path, the purpose. Like, I remember I started this YouTube channel because I wanted to share my story and my journey along the way, because I realized there weren't enough Black men in medicine, for one. Two, there weren't not a lot of Black men who were in medicine sharing their story and showing the hardship throughout it. I feel like it's one thing to see the end result, but it's another thing to show the process. I feel like more people are interested in the process and seeing what it takes to really achieve that dream of becoming whatever the end result is. And for me, I realized I had to remember my why, remember that I'm trying to help diversify the field of medicine. I'm trying to inspire the next generation. I'm trying to bring a new approach to how to treat patients and show that Black men are capable of being physicians and being good, well physicians that can treat and heal their patients and show that leadership in the community. And using those as my anchors and my motivating factors that help rejuvenate my drive. And then also, I have been an entrepreneur from day one. And to even say to be an entrepreneur, that has been my thing that has been within me innately before medicine has even come into the picture. I was selling business. I've been raising money for fundraisers for the school when I was young. I've did different campaigns. I started my own clothing brand in middle school, when I graduated middle school and started high school. And so during these time periods, I realized that I definitely have that hustle, that hustler spirit, and willing to do and go above and beyond to, be driven towards a goal. If that's selling something, achieving something academically, I definitely have that innately. And so I had to tap back into that spirit. So during my time period of taking off from the MCAT and just not doing anything medicine related, I spent time going back to entrepreneurship. And I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed creating and really getting my ideas out there and seeing people support me because they like the drive and the hustle. They like the actual products as well. So that made me realize that I still have a knack for that, and I still have that drive and that motivation. So it's not that I'm not a motivated person, or I'm lazy or not smart or intelligent. It's just that I just needed that extra push, that reason why, that motivation factor. So that gave me some time to realize that I'm still passionate about medicine, and I have the drive and that grit character to achieve my dreams. I know I still have it within me. So I still trying to figure out how am I going to merge medicine and entrepreneurship, because those are two things that are kind of different, but still I want to try to merge together on my own path and on my journey. And so one of the ways that I've kind of thought about merging the two right now, like later in the future, and you'll start seeing soon, is where I'm going to be releasing apparel and branding this Mission to Medicine channel and trying to, take it to the next level, because I feel like Mission to Medicine definitely have some potential that I definitely have not untapped yet, that I haven't tapped into yet, and it's untapped. So I really want to start working on that and trying to take that into a new direction. And you will see very soon that it's going to be, the Mission to Medicine brand is going to be very big, and it can really definitely help people out, especially on the pre-med, pre-health journey. And medicine is a broad field. It's a field full of interdisciplinary teams of people that work in a myriad of different fields to take care of patients and provide the best outcomes as possible for healing the patient population. But back to my journey of recognizing that, I need to get back onto this path of medicine, is that I realized I don't want to have regrets down the road. I don't want the MCAT and this MCAT to be the death of me and death of my dreams. It's because I wasn't willing to persevere and push through. I don't want to be 10 years from now, all my friends are physicians, and I'm looking back like, dang, I could have just given it a couple more months studying for that exam, doing some extra practice problems on UWorld and the AAMC practice exams, and just buckling down for a couple of months to achieve this white coat. I don't want to look back and say I didn't give it my all and that I could have done more or I could have done this differently. I don't want to have those type of regrets. And I feel like making a big life decision and having regret would definitely weigh you down in the future. And I've seen that happen to family members, and I don't want that for myself. And so I would encourage anyone who's like pondering in between whether or not they should continue down this medical field path, becoming a doctor or any other occupation in the field of medicine, you should just really think to yourself, what are your reasons why? Write them out, and write down what will you do differently, and also will you have any regrets. And if you have any regrets, I would definitely say think heavily on it, because regretting any type of major decision like this could really be negative down the road, and you don't want that at all. And there's a lot of people who decide not to go down the medical field path and switch and go somewhere and go to a different career path, and they're completely happy, and you might be that person. But personally, I feel like I really don't see myself doing anything else. And I hate when people say that. It's like, oh, you think you were born to be a doctor? No, it's just that when I think about different career fields, there's nothing that really excites me that much besides entrepreneurship. And I can do that as well as become a physician too. So I think it's important to realize your motivating factors, realizing what's continue you on this path, and just lock in and do whatever it takes, go above and beyond, and just stay focused and hone in until you get to where you want to be. I know this video was long. It's been a minute since I made a video, so I want to make sure I give y'all some real substance and really just talk my stuff and give you updates about what's going on with me, where I've been at, what I've been doing. So I'm still on my gap year right now, about to go into full MCAT study mode. So you all will see that this YouTube channel will be going to a different direction for right now, because I am working towards my goal of becoming a medical student and a medical doctor. So I have to study for the MCAT. So I'm going to make more study with me vlogs, where I'll be just, showing my study process. And if you're studying for a major exam, if you're in college or you're out of college on your gap year studying for some type of entrance exam, study with me, do your work with me. Let's be productive together. Let's hold each other accountable and just grind it out until we get to our end goal. And so I'm going to be dropping more study with me videos for now.